On this episode of the Strangeplay News Recap, we talk about why Nazis are shit, THQ Nordic assimilating everything, and the PlayStation 2 finally being taken off of life support. Hello and welcome to Strangeplay. I'm Rik.
I'm Simon.
And for those of you that are new here, what we do on this show is each and every Sunday we go over 3 or 4 of the biggest gaming news stories of the past 7 days, give you the facts and then share our opinions. So to start, off you pop.
Hey, we've got a lovely wholesome story to begin with.
Nazis!
Nazis, yeah. Scum, a battle royale game published by DevolverDigital, has caused a bit of controversy just days after it were released due to the inclusion of Nazi imagery. The images in question were part of a tattoo that came with the Scum supporter pack, which went on sale with the game and has since been removed. The offending tattoos took the form of a full-face skull tattoo that included the numbers 14 and 88, as well as an iron cross with a skull on the back of the player's head, all of which are images used by Nazi or neo-Nazi groups. DevolverDigital went on record as saying, "We do not agree with the use of this symbology or any hateful content, regardless of intention. And while the use of the tattoo was intended to assist in portraying a realistic element of prison culture and the horrid elements within it, the content has been patched out." Devolver went on to apologise unreservedly and said it would be conducting a full review with Gamepire about assets and content within Scum. Scum developer Gamepire also went on record as saying, "Recently we patched out content from Scum that included neo-Nazi symbols. Our intention was to create an atmosphere of the worst criminals in Scum and to portray the horrible type of people who would find themselves in a fight to the death situation for a futuristic reality show where the worst criminals are pitted against each other. Since our initial response on our forums, we've discussed this as a team and with our publisher, and agree wholeheartedly that this content was unnecessary, should not have been included, and have removed it. We apologise for this misstep and promise to our fans that we will take more caution in our approach moving forward." The Scum community page on Reddit had some users posting in dismay about the removal of these tattoos. The consensus were that the tattoos added a gritty level of realism and were contextually used correctly, and cited that Nazis suck, but Aryan Brotherhoods exist. And not having such people present in the game would just be jarring, especially if there are other gang-related symbols and groups within the game. So, thoughts on that, Rik?
I find it funny more than anything, considering that like a week or two ago, Nazi imagery in games was just legalised in Germany. Personally, I don't care. I don't think that it's going to make any difference to the game, and that the people who are like, oh, but it's taking away an edge of realism in a game set in the future where criminals fight each other to the death for like the Running Man, not really the stage for realism. I don't think it matters either way.
Yeah, I'm sort of on the fence about it, if I'm honest. It's one of these things where the old swastika and anything to do with Nazi symbolism, I think if it makes sense contextually, it's fine.
Yeah. Just
leave it in there, it's fine. We know that Nazis are not very nice people, and that's it. There's got to be a bad guy in every game, and Nazis are the ideal bad guy. I think the issue is that it's allowing people to customise themselves as Nazis, and I don't know whether I'm comfortable with that. I don't think they should have buckled to it. I think they should have stuck with it and gone, hey, it's a game about prisons and the Aryan Brotherhood exists, so you're going to have to deal with it.
You raise a very good point with that, though, that I didn't actually think about, that with it being a customization item in a pack, there are going to be white supremacists and members of the Aryan Brotherhood who are playing it, because video games has a broad audience, and you can guarantee that at least a couple of people playing the game are going to relate to that. So they're going to see those tattoos as a symbol of pride.
Yeah.
These people are going to be creating themselves, and
I don't think it's that. For me, it's more a case of, I mean, some people they're just like the imagery. We talked about this a long time ago with the Iron Cross and stuff like that. It's just, I know it's used as a Nazi symbol, but it looks cool. Like, that's the thing. They DevolverDigital had no idea what any of this was until it were flagged up for them.
I think they did. Well, Devolver were unaware, but Gamepire, they knew what it was. They put it in there on purpose.
Yeah.
The impression I get from this as well, or the tone that this gives me, is in a game like Wolfenstein, Nazi imagery should be prevalent because you are fighting Nazis. In this situation, it just kind of feels a bit edgelordish.
Yeah, I think so too, to an extent, but also, like, say Battlefield 5, which is coming out, which is the Allies versus the Axis. There's no swastikas in that from what I've seen. And really, there should be. Like, I think it makes sense contextually to have swastikas there. And all the lightning bolts and all the other fucking imagery that goes with Nazism, because that's what it was. I don't think we should be running from history. It should be there as a lesson for us to learn and go, yeah, these guys were pretty bad. But also, and this is a big fucking factor in this, realise that in those games, like in World War II specifically, not every German were a Nazi. They were just fucking guys that were like, they got drafted and they didn't have an option in it. The problem here is that people are prisoners and they join these groups and gangs as an affiliation because it's a common interest.
It's their choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. Whereas the German soldiers, they didn't have a fucking choice.
Yeah.
They got dragged into a war and that were it.
Yeah.
I think also as well, for them not going against this, if they'd have stood up and gone, no, we're leaving it in. Because you look at stuff like Oz, you look at stuff like Sons of Anarchy.
American History X.
Yeah, all those things have really, really nasty people in them. And this is a game about nasty people. It's about fucking prisoners.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have probably said it is what it is and we're keeping it. But just because it's in the game doesn't mean we're backing it. It's just there for flavour, as it were. Like, Joe, to be realistic, to be gritty.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not for, like, Nazi sympathies or anything like that. It's just, that's what it is. If you're making a game about prisons, you're going to have to deal with the people that are in prisons and their tattoos and Russian tattoos and all that other fucking business. They're all gang tattoos. They're all nasty fucking people.
Yeah.
And they come in all creeds and colours and all sorts of ferocities. So, yeah, really for me, it's the ones where people, like you say, that are going to identify with it and go, oh, I can be represented in this game. And it's like, no, it's not about that. You're fucking completely loony if you think it's that. Because you can't really identify with a Nazi. Because they're just shitty people. Like, if you're identifying with a Nazi in a video game, you need to take a step back and, look at your life because
you're a shitty person.
Yeah, you're a shitty person, and that's it. And I think that's the line as well. Like, you can pretend to be someone. Like, a good example is Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. Like, he's not a racist, but he plays racist people. Like, gaming is an escape. So you're sort of free to do what you want within the confines. And if you want to roleplay someone who's a racist shitbag, then, hey, it should be open to you. It sort of reminds me a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about, well, it's more than a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, Steam and their, the no trolling game thing. Do you remember when they were just opening green light to anything?
Yeah.
And I said it could be that we're going to get that game that pushes boundaries and, does things that are going to open people's eyes.
Yeah.
This could have possibly been a step into that. A very minor step, albeit very, very small. But I think blurring the line between the film industries and the music stuff and with how it's dealing with these, they're just there. I'm not sponsoring it or saying that it's fucking good, but I'm saying that if you're gonna constantly fucking censor and backpedal on stuff like this, nothing like this is ever gonna get made because people will be scared to go further, if you know what I mean. You're not gonna get those films that are thought-provoking if they're just gonna get put on ice as soon as people's, oh, it's got Nazis in it, and then that's it. It gets cut short. So it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. Yeah.
You see, as far as the inclusion of the tattoos in the game, I feel that they were kind of unnecessary. Like, going back to what I said earlier, you could have done anything. You could have made something that kind of looked like something that a neo-Nazi group would use without going all in. But at the same time, once it was in, I agree with you in that it shouldn't have been taken out because how else is the medium going to grow?
Yeah.
How else is the medium going to mature? We look at things like sex in video games, that's still something that gets laughed at. You look at things like politics and you get these fucking toxic Twitter tosspots who are like, oh, keep politics out of games, and people buckle to it. the medium is not going to mature if people keep trying to do something and then going, oh shit, no, and then backpedaling on it.
I think another thing for this as well is putting a spotlight on it and showing people what these things are. So when I was typing this up, the numbers 14 and 88, I knew that 88 were one because it stands for, it's the letter in it from Heil Hitler. I don't know what 14 means.
I'm going to tell you. So I'm reading this straight from Wikipedia now. 1488 is a reference to slogans coined by white supremacist David Lane, a founding member of the terrorist organisation The Order. The terms were coined while he was serving a 190-year sentence in federal prison for his role in violating the civil rights of Jewish talk show host Alan Berg, who was murdered in June 1984. The slogans were publicised through now defunct 14 Words, founded in 1995 by Lane's wife to disseminate her husband's writings.
It's from some scripture then that neo-Nazis believe in. Is it from Hitler's writings itself, or what's going on there?
The 14 refers to Lane's white supremacist neo-pagan religion, Wotanism.
That sounds rubbish. What? Wotanism?
Wotanism.
And what is that?
So Wotanism is a form of white nationalist, neo-Volkish paganism which was found in the early 1990s by Ron McVan, Katia Lane and David Lane, while Lane was serving a 190-year prison sentence for his actions in connection with the white supremacist revolutionary domestic terrorist organisation The Order, of which he was a member.
So it's basically white nationalist Scientology.
Wotan's Volk practitioners see their religion as being rooted in ancestral European paganism, which was driven underground, calling it the true spiritual heritage to the Euro tribes. Followers of the movement often selectively cite Carl Jung's theories of an Aryan collective subconscious, specifically his 1996 essay, Wotan. Yeah, so it's basically paganism for white people.
Well, originally it would have been for white people, I'm guessing.
That's interesting.
It is. All that I can think of now is that episode of Trisha when she went to America with that white supremacist and they did a DNA test on him and found out he was like 5% black. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's worth watching. Because Trisha fucking rips on him for like a good fucking 3 or 4 minutes.
But look at that. You come here for news, you leave with a history lesson about Nazis.
What a bunch of bastards. Right, next story. What we got next?
Okay, so this next story is taken from Eurogamer, and it's some pretty good news for RPG fans. THQ are continuing to add strings to their bow with the acquisition of the Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning IP and unreleased MMO Copernicus. The rights did belong to 38 Studios, or 38 Studios, I'm not sure how... No, it's 38 Studios.
It's 38.
An asset belonging to baseball star Kurt Schilling. Of course, Kurt Schilling wore the number 38. I only know that much about him. Other than that, I knew he used to hit a ball with a stick. Decided he wanted to make video games. Other than that, I'm clueless. What about you?
I have no idea who Kurt Schilling is, and I don't care.
It's unknown how much THQ Nordic paid for the IPs, nor do we have any idea what it plans to do with them. Kingdoms of Amalur had its fans though, so this news is very welcome and surprising at the same time. Hopefully it's in safe hands with THQ Nordic. I believe it is, personally.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. THQ... they're going out of the starting blocks like crazy here. They've just gone from nothing to just being absolutely broadcast to acquiring all these IPs. And I know there's no games yet, but...
you see, THQ Nordic and THQ are two very different things. So it was originally Nordic Games, and it bought a lot of THQ properties when they died. So because it acquired so many THQ licenses... as far as I'm aware, that's the reason that it gave itself the name THQ Nordic.
Right.
So I personally think this is great.
Yeah, I do as well.
Kingdoms of Amalur isn't something that I played. I've got it on the PlayStation 3, I think.
I have it on PC, and it's once I've finished Bloodborne.
Now, I never actually played it, but I did play the demo for it, and it was one of the best demos I've ever played on a game. I think it lasted like 2 hours.
Wow, that's pretty fucking hefty.
Yeah, because it's just open. You've got like a 2 hour time limit.
Right, okay.
So you just go, do stuff, and you can fuck about for 2 hours. And I remember absolutely digging it.
Yeah.
So it's one that I need to go back to. But like seeing this, it bodes well Especially with what they did with Darksiders 1 and 2, I reckon we're going to see a Kingdoms of Amalur remaster.
Possibly.
For the PlayStation 4.
It's my next game to play after Bloodborne. This news has sort of gone, oh yeah, that game exists, and you have it, and you missed out on it, so I'm in on this. Maybe not for a remaster, but for any sequels, then yeah, I'm totally down for it. I hope they don't become as corrupt as EA and Activision. Well, Blizzard Activision. Let's not forget that Blizzard are part of that shit show. And Ubisoft as well, with the fucking million fucking editions of games.
I don't think we've got anything to worry about. Because look what they did with Darksiders. When they acquired the Darksiders license, we got 2 shit-hot remasters on the PlayStation 4 and Darksiders 3 in development. And it's kind of like they're looking at things going, well, we've got ideas of what we can do with this license, so we'll take it and then do things that we think are going to be like a really good representation of the idea instead of just a quick cash grab. And I support that completely.
Yeah, me too. Like we're talking about, they've got the Time Splitters,
yeah,
which is a shooter. They've got the Homefronts and what have you. They've got the Dead Islands. If you look, they're building up a roster in each genre.
Yeah.
It's sort of, they're filling out each genre so that they can push into them, which is really clever, I think, from that angle.
And now they've got action RPG.
Yeah, they've got an action RPG, which is fantasy-based.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something I thought I'd point out, if no one noticed that before.
Right, what's next?
So, next up, we've got a story from Kotaku. September the 7th, 2018. That's the day Sony officially stopped all aftercare services for the PlayStation 2 in Japan. The console, which ceased production back in 2012, has been supported by Sony Japan, keeping the beloved machine running for those that had the machine break down on them. Any consoles that arrive after the deadline will not be serviced. Customer service for the PS2 also ended 1 week prior to this closure, with the department shutting down 31st of August. Some fucking time, eh? The PlayStation 2 was 18 on the 4th of March this year in Japan, so it's pretty good going for them to have carried out these services for so long.
Yeah, I'd say.
Undoubtedly, it's going to get harder to come by fully functioning PlayStation 2s in the future, unless a third party springs up and starts specialising in the units. I think it's going to be a while before working PlayStation 2s become a complete rarity, though, since the PlayStation 2 is the best selling console ever.
I don't think finding working PlayStation 2s is ever going to become an issue, because until third-party parts go out of production, that's when shit's going to start going wrong. When like DVD lasers and things become a thing of the past, that's when it's going to become an issue. Because the PlayStation 2 wasn't built to last. It's not built like older consoles. Like, you can still get NES systems and Super Nintendo systems, Mega Drive systems.
It comes down to the moving parts. The PlayStation, well, the PlayStation 1 onwards had a lot of moving parts. The cartridge stuff doesn't, so it's just more robust.
It's the problem with CD-based hardware. You know, lasers burn out, motors stop working. Oh, it's the same with the systems that we've got now, though, because whenever the format that's not Blu-ray or whatever comes after that, as soon as the parts run out,
even when CD drives just become defunct and we move on to hard disk drives, they're wear. They've got wear and tear, so yeah, we're never going to be safe. It's impossible to store data for prolonged amounts of time. In fact, do you know what the best thing to store data on is for prolonged amounts of times? Stone. So if you want to back up your copies of your PlayStation 4 games, you need a big fucking stone tablet, and you need to etch your ones and zeros in there, because come the nuclear holocaust, that's all that's going to fucking survive.
Yeah, but if you get one digit wrong, then your 300-hour Skyrim save is gone forever.
Yeah, Todd Howard is rubbing his hands at the idea of converting fucking Skyrim to a stone tablet.
Don't give him ideas. Jesus Christ. But what do you think to this then?
Yeah, I mean, it's just progress, innit? Yeah. I'm surprised it's gone for as long as it has done.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were still supporting it, to be honest. Because I thought that once it went out of production, they were like, okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, they'd have washed their hands of it. But to go on for another 6 years, yeah, it's sort of above and beyond with technology, because consumer electronics are sort of expendable when you think about it. I know we sort of fall in love with these things and we get endeared to them, but at the end of it all, it's just plastic, and they've got more things to sell, and that's the sad point of it. It's not meant to last forever. Like you said, the build quality on the PlayStation 2 wasn't fantastic, and it wasn't fantastic for a reason. It's not meant to last forever. It's meant to last to do a job for a set amount of time, and then you upgrade to whatever the next thing is. And it's same with everything. It's same with phones. It's same with TVs.
It's going to be sad when PlayStation 3 support stops, because then I'm going to start feeling really old.
I don't need PlayStation 3 support to stop for that. I already feel like shit.
Man, it's weird, isn't it? Seeing all these consoles, like, seeing the life cycles, seeing them come and go. But that is it for this week's news recap. So if you'd like to talk to us about any of the stories we mentioned, then please feel free to leave a comment below, or talk to us over at Twitter at StrangePlayUK, or join our Facebook group at facebook.com/StrangePlayUK. You can also join our Discord server, invite link in the description. Also, if you like this video or like what we do on this channel, please feel free to give us a like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. It helps us grow and we really do appreciate it. But until next week, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you then.